through that program at Palomar. Because some of you, wow, that's what I thought. I recognized lots of faces, but some of you were actually there before I was. Well, I've been promising for months that we were in the works for a new grant with Cuyamaca. They're the lead college on this, but it would allow us to do something for all of you. And it's changed shapes a dozen different times, trying to get it focused. You know how those of you who are photographers with what I call real cameras, you know, where you have to actually do some manual focusing. Well, that's what we've had to do with this grant, because initially it was going to promise everybody everything. Everybody who'd ever been through this program was going to have the opportunity to do at least 5 or 6 different things. I didn't have a clue how we were going to deliver that, neither did Cuyamaca. So we went back and reworked, and what we have now is a very focused BPI program that will get started in a couple of months, and I want to go through right now all the specifics. These are the things you're going to email me about tomorrow if I don't do it tonight. So I'm going to give you those things first. I'll answer whatever questions I can. You know I'm not as knowledgeable about the technology as I am about the process, so I'll do what I can there. And then we're going to make all this available to you by email, and you said you can put it up on the website?
Yes.
Okay. So first of all, the eligibility. Anybody who is a HERS rater is eligible to go through this program. We are not going through the workforce partnership for this funding, so you're not going back through the career centers. Now that being said, that makes my life way easier. But that being said, there is still a kind of eligibility that you're going to have to meet, because it is a funded project. So I believe you've already met all these things by going through the first round training, but just let me run through. Anybody not 18 or over? No. I can see that far.
They didn't say mental.
So either unemployed or underemployed. Now I had a big question about this underemployed. What does that really mean? Anyone who is working, for instance, possibly full-time but not in the field for which you are supposed to be working, anybody who's working in a part-time capacity, they are going to be very generous in interpreting that underemployed piece, okay? So I'm pretty comfortable with that. If you're a male, you need to have registered, of course, with Selective Service at the appropriate time, but you wouldn't have gotten through the HERS training without that. Legal right to work documents, same thing, you've already done that. Here's where it gets to be a little bit different than what you've already qualified for. There will be a requirement for 10th grade math and reading skills, and they'll do an assessment. I'll tell you more about how that works in a bit. Because as you know, and we saw this with some of our HERS folks, this stuff gets pretty technical, and if you don't have particularly the math skills that we expect a sophomore in high school to have, it's going to be tough. It's going to be really tough. So Cuyamaca is going to do that assessment at their college. For somebody who falls in the 8th or 9th grade skill level in math and or reading, there's going to be a remediation program to try and get you up to be able to pass the 10th grade level. So we're going to make every effort possible to make this happen. I'm assuming, because you're all still here and you didn't say, oh my gosh, this woman is crazy, why would I ever want to do that again, that you're not going to have any issue with that. But just in case you have some anxiety about the math or the reading, there will be remediation available. And for our part of the program, you must already be someone who participated in HERS training. Now, it's possible that you did this someplace else. There are folks, who didn't come through Palomar to get that training. So we'll talk individually about that as the time comes up. But most of you went through our training, and so if there is somebody who has interest in getting BPI certification but has no HERS rater background, Cuyamaca is the place that's going to do that. So their training program for BPI is going to be a little bit longer because they're going to have to start a little farther back. These skills are not totally separate from each other, right? They're very interrelated. So if there's somebody in here who's not done any of it but wants to, Cuyamaca is going to be there. I knew there were at least a couple of you. Cuyamaca is going to be the college that can do that. So assuming you meet all the other criteria, yeah, well, I'm assuming you do, then you will have no problem there. So that's how you get eligible. And we'll create a little form, because we can't do anything at the college without a form, right? You figured that part out. We'll create a little form that the people at Cuyamaca will probably send right to me saying, yep, this one's okay, yep, this one's, just like career centers did, only it's going to be from Sandy Moreland to me, and we're not going to have, I don't know, how many career centers are there now, 8 or 10 around here, and we'll have to try and figure out where it all broke down, and you know how that went with the referrals, so this will be way simpler. Now, before the BPI training actually starts, there are 3 things you'll have to do. Again, don't worry about keeping notes, because we're going to send all this to you. You have to go to the orientation at Cuyamaca. Y'all know where that is?
No.
El Cajon, right. I was there yesterday. The only hard thing there is figuring out where on that campus the buildings are, because all of the roads go like this. But that schedule will be released soon. We don't have it yet. It's probably going to be late September, but I'm not positive because they have to determine that. You have to do the math and reading assessment at Cuyamaca, so this is all going to happen on the same day. And then the third piece of pre-BPI training, and this was written into the original grant, and no matter what we've done, there's been no ability to pull this piece out. There is a 24-hour Title 24 training that is mandatory for everybody. Now, I don't think you're going to view that as a bad thing, but it does have to happen before you can actually be in the BPI class. So all of that is going to happen at Cuyamaca. So get ready to learn your way to El Cajon because you're going. So once we get that done, we have a tentative schedule. When I say tentative, I mean I was with her yesterday at 3 o'clock still trying to get this little thing to come down because it just keeps shifting. But we believe the first class at Palomar will be the week of October 4th. Second one would be the week of November 15th. And then the last one would be the week of January 10th. We will almost certainly train 75 people. So, you know, our original grant was for 96. We got 96 through. I'm sure there are some who are not coming back, judging from the looks of this room, though a lot of you are, and I'm thrilled about that. So 75 HERS raters will be able to go through this program.
But, so you said, is that Palomar?
That's the Palomar part.
So it's up north.
Up in Escondido.
So do you have to go to El Cajon
to do all the other testing? Yeah, I'm afraid so.
So what does that entail? Is it like a couple classes and then
Well,
you go to?
There'll be one meeting where you have an orientation and do the assessment. And then you'll have 24 hours of Title 24 training, which I assume will be 3 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then it's at Palomar.
And then it's up to Palomar, yeah. And we'll be in the Escondido Center. Delighted to tell you they are almost finished. I'm almost going to get to move out of the closet I'm living in this summer and go back into my office where I can see. Yes, sir?
75 for Palomar and 375
No, I don't think so. I think they're probably going to end up with about 100 or 125. Not much more than that, though. Originally, they were going to do HERS training as well as BPI, and we talked a lot, and I said, please don't do that. Let's get the HERS raters we've got employed first.
Yeah.
And if we want to do a second round of HERS training, I'm all for it. But she said, you mean you don't want to do any more? I said, absolutely not. I want to see these guys have jobs first.
Thank you.
So that's the goal, is to get you the more comprehensive skill set, because you know how this has been shifting back and forth. Is it going to be HERS? Is it going to be BPI? Is it going to be something else? We think that by adding this to what you've already learned, you're going to be in a much stronger position. So here's the really good news, though. Let me read the cost to you. It's a long list. Tuition, 0. Written certification exam, 0. Field exam, 0. And parking, 0. I wrote parking into the grant list. Some of you exchanged emails with me a number of times as I was hounding you for a $40 parking pass because somehow that didn't get written into the original grant. The other piece, well, you know, we broke even this year in my department. I want you to know it's first in a long time, but we broke even, so we're real excited. But the other thing that is new to this program for us is we're going to try and address on a very small scale the issue you have with not having equipment. How many of you still are scrounging? I'm going to have 2 full sets of the equipment you need to do a BPI kind of rating. And when we're done with the training, we own that at Palomar. And we're going to find a way, we don't know the mechanism exactly yet, but we're going to find a way to make that available at no cost to all of the people that we train. It's like a finger in the dike. I know it's not really going to hold, but 2 sets is more than I have now, so we can at least do that for you. You don't have to come, I know there's equipment down here, but for those of you up in the North County, then you don't have to come down here every time you want to buy or borrow something. So that is pretty much all I know. We're going to point you to a website for more information if you don't already have it about bpi.org. Yep.
Is this, Debbie, is this through the Career Center again? Or
No.
not? So you don't have to be active in the Career Center?
No, that's, now, behind the scenes, the people at Cuyamaca who have taken on the leadership role of this grant and are going to actually be doing the formal registration for you, even though I'm going to be doing my own piece of that, they're going to be having to work